Always a pleasure to have you back. My name is Kofi Asantimensa. This is Pulse of the Week, and we're live on YouTube and many of our digital and social media platforms. It is NSG News. Please search for us and like our page. And that is our social media handles. You can see on your screen right now. Social media handles, there you have it. Please search for us and like our page and share some few comments with us. We have been dealing with the story that erupted Nigeria. Some are happy, others are not. We want to enter into the mind of a security expert and know why. We have also been dealing with stories relating to this republic. First, in the Volta region, there were some few gunshots at Juma prayer today. And we want to look at the security implication of what is happening in the Volta region. We have also just finished dealing with the CRC chairperson, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, who has been talking and speaking about their work on the Constitution, reviewing of the Constitution, the recommendation they have reported or pushed to the President, of which the President is about to set an implementation committee to deal with it in early part of next year. Let's go on the Zoom right now and talk to Dr. Prosper Ni Norte Ado, who is a security expert, and apparently he is in the region I'm about to talk about, the Volta region. Doc, I'm sure you can hear me. Welcome to the program. This is NSG News, and it is Pulse of the Week on 26th of December. We are happy to have you online. Good evening. Doc, if you can unmute, I'm struggling to hear you. All right, so Doc, please unmute so I can hear you. Dr. Prosper Ni Norte Ado is my guest on Zoom right now, and he is a security expert. We're about to discuss the Nigeria strike, the U.S. strike that happened in Nigeria. We're about to talk about it, and also related to security in this country. And don't forget, there have been some few gunshots in the Volta region of this republic, and we want to pick some security angles to what is really happening in that part of our country and this continent, all the way in Nigeria. And just to refreshen your memory, this week, and I mean just yesterday, 25th of December 2025, Donald Trump, the U.S. president, announced that they have given indication of some deadly strikes in the camp of the ISIS, the Islamic jihadist group in Nigeria. They have gone ahead to deadly strike against them because they are slaughtering some Christians. And I played for you the Foreign Affairs Minister of Nigeria, Mr. Yusuf Tuga, who happens to be the Foreign Affairs Minister, indicating that they are not against Muslims, neither are they against Christians. There's nothing like a fight between these two religious groups. And it is not a religious affair. It happens that some jihadist group are massacring Nigerians, and the U.S. is supporting to. I think our Zoom is working now. Let's get back to Dr. Prosper Ni Norte Ado, who happens to be in the Volta region right now. Doc, a pleasure to have you this Friday evening. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening and thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much. And let me pick your initial comments on when you heard about the strike against Nigeria, the ISIS, the jihadist group in Nigeria, by the United States of America. How did you feel about it? When you finish giving me your initial reaction, I would want you to answer to this question. Should we expect the president of this republic, John Dramani Mahama, to issue a statement or to speak about this? Because don't forget, he is the nominee. ECOWAS is nominating for the AU, and Nigeria is part of ECOWAS. Of course, they are also part of the African Union. And our foreign policy also states that we are friends to all, enemy to none. And the African is also capable of managing his own affairs. Why are Nigerians and Africans not able to manage this ISIS problem? And we have to invite the United States to come in. And it looks like every state or every country, United States, goes in to offer the support. There is no peace over there. Let me first pick your initial thoughts on what happened yesterday.
Okay. Good evening again to your listeners and viewers. Um, this terrorism issue has been ongoing for over close to 2 decades now and over. And the jihadists have stated clearly that they are also going to be destabilizing the West African region. And that's exactly what they set out to do. And so if you look at Niger, if you look at Mali, if you look at Burkina Faso, Nigeria, all these activities are intensely ongoing. And Boko Haram has been disturbing the peace in Nigeria, especially the northern part, northeastern, and now Sokoto and all these areas. And ISIS, of course, is also heavily involved. The issue is that it is ideological. And when you are dealing with such conflicts, it's because of the asymmetric nature of that. It is difficult to say that I want to fight and defeat it. It's really going to take a lot of coordination, a lot of cooperation, sharing of intelligence, and perhaps ECOWAS as a body coming together to agree to comprehensively deal with this issue. Why I'm saying this is that in as much as it's intensely Nigeria, we've had other occurrences across the region. Some in Cote d'Ivoire, at a point in Benin, um, and of course, these other Sahel regions that I've mentioned. And it continues. And so it requires that collaboration. Now, the US coming in to do what it did, we were getting hints of its proposed attacks on these jihadists. Perhaps the question would be, why now? Why not when President Trump was in power then, and now he's engaging and asking why Christians, are being targeted? But the fact still remains that terrorism is an affront to human society, and it must not be allowed. If the Nigerian government deems it fit to collaborate with a foreign power to fight terrorism within its territory, that is the Nigerian government's decision. I would just want to state upfront that while those precision attacks are being undertaken, it must be that precise as is being alleged, and that it must not target civilian infrastructures. You mentioned hospitals, marketplaces, could be, places that could also be affected and all that. And that those attacks will be precise and target people who are causing this. The extent to which we can prove that may be difficult. And so this is why we also have to be a bit cautious about that we don't worsen the situation. And it would also be interesting then to know why now from the US, while these things have been going on. Because sometimes when these powers get involved, you would have to understand the intention for which they're doing this. So this will be my initial reaction.
Deadly strike that we are referring to, the US is referring to, and we have not had details of all of this. Are you surprised with that?
You mean it about the deadly
Right.
strikes, the Tomahawk
Dr.
missiles
Prosper,
being fired?
I'm not sure you heard me. I was asking
Yeah.
if you are
Yes.
surprised about the details of the strike that occasioned yesterday. There haven't been any
Yes.
details. Are you surprised with that?
Well, I only heard about that Tomahawk,
All right, so it looks like
missile being.
Dr. Prosper's line has gone a little bit bad, and I don't know if you can hear me. Dr.
Yes,
Prosper,
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Can you
Note,
hear
please, can you
me?
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Okay.
So
Okay,
I
you
was
can
saying,
hear me. Unfortunately, I
yes.
can't hear you just All right. Okay. Let's continue. So I want to find out whether you are surprised about details of what happened yesterday. I was indicating by now we should have so and so number of people have been killed by way of the deadly strike, the precision strike by the United States. We should have some records. Are you surprised with that?
No, I'm not surprised. The issue is that it is the Nigerian government that's supposed to be giving us these details. Now, if it deems it that at this time it doesn't want to release figures, then so be it. But of course, indeed, right to information is also very important. Why it is important is that we need to know whether there has been civilian casualties. Casualties resulting from that precision attacks. Did it really hit the target as is being said, or others also suffered? Because we have to limit the effect and impact on those who are around those vicinities and areas who are innocent and are not part of these terrorist activities. And this is where the difficulty lies, because these terrorists carry out their attacks and then they go and hide among the people in the communities. They come out, they strike and do so. So sometimes it's difficult to know exactly who you are targeting and whether you're getting your precise target or not. So it would be good to have some information in this regard. But I'm also not surprised because perhaps the government, the Nigerian government, for some reasons, might want not to come out with this data as soon as possible. But the people need to get this information.
The Foreign Affairs Minister for Nigeria was quick to come out to state clearly with the BBC today, was it today? Probably yesterday, that we shouldn't misconstrue the attack. It's not Christians against Muslims. Why do you think they are quick to say we should diffuse religion with respect to this? Because we know clearly that some of these jihadist groups are attacking Christians, killing them and taking girls, Chibok girls, etc., and slaughtering them. So if it is religiously inclined, why don't you Christian it aside? Why is it quick to come and say we shouldn't give it that name, but it's just an attack on some unscrupulous people in the northern part of Nigeria and the United States is supporting Nigeria to come against them?
Yes. My reading is that first, Nigeria is a very huge country, and you don't want to throw the country into a religious turmoil where Christians will be uh, neck and neck against the Muslims. It goes beyond that. You would have seen that even the attacks are also carried out in mosques, not only on churches and all that. And so even Muslims are falling victims to some of these attacks. And so I'm sure, of course, I'm not the spokesperson of the Nigerian government, but in order to avert such kinds of incidents, they would have to be careful the way they handle the situation. So in my mind's eye, this may be one of the reasons why they want to state clearly that it's not a Christian against Muslim. They're specifically going out for the terrorists who are perpetrating these dangerous acts and want to eliminate them in terms of the threats they are posing to the population in its entirety.
That's fine. Doc, you would stay with me. Let me engage AIM Liquid. But before I allow you to stay a little bit longer, I want you to ponder over this for me. I want you to come back and tell me the security implication of what Nigeria did yesterday on Ghana. And there's Volta region gunfires we'll also be talking about. So just be pondering over the security implication of the deadly strike the United States offered Nigeria yesterday on Ghana. And I'll come back to pick your thoughts on that. Let me get to the other Zoom line and interact with AM Liquid. Is a media personality and host of Hot Sets here on NSG News. He's all the way in the United Kingdom who has joined us on Zoom. AM Liquid, a pleasure to have you. Welcome, sir.
opportunity to join you once again for this your wonderful program. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me pick your initial thought. Like when you heard, you have friends. You are in the UK. You have friends who are Nigerians. You're a Ghanaian in the United Kingdom, and you love Africa. You love Ghana. You love Nigeria. When you heard the United States offering this deadly precision strike in Nigeria, how did you feel about it?
Um, when I first heard about the strike, actually this morning, I think of Ghana, and then I was my first initial reaction was how why that? Not because I'm not aware of the challenges that they have in the northern sector, but was it a unilateral decision that because for a while now Donald Trump and his team has been making comments dissatisfaction with what is going on in that area, but then on listening and reading few things, the Nigerian, as my doctor is said, the Nigerian government is come to denounce the fact that it is not a Christian strike. It is an attempt to protect Nigerians. And that settled me at that point. That was my first reaction.
That's very good. So you are looking at the comfort and the peace for Nigerians, but not really the religious inclined nature of the whole thing. This has gone on for several years, like Dr. Prosper Ninote queried or asked. Why now? Why do you think Donald Trump is doing this at this very time?
Um, from me and from all the informations available, I think that Nigeria, not Nigeria, US feels a bit threatened with the advancement of China in Africa. China being business partners of African countries on a large scale. And for a while now, within us as country people and continent people, we feel that America is not quite supportive of the African nations. Personally, not because I think it's their responsibility to do anything for us. I think that we have shot ourselves in the foot for not rising up to the occasion, being fortified enough to take on the challenges that we face. Having said that, the opinion is that America has been on the sidelines and also kind of influencing certain kind of actions that we don't like. So I think this move is to get Africa to understand that they still love us and they're on that side. That's how I put it.
What's your
If we
opinion
look
on
at
the
it
people
from
who
a
say
geopolitical point of view, I feel that China's advancement in Africa is one of the reasons why they are forced to act.
that's a good point. But what's your opinion on people who say the African is capable of managing his own affairs, as said by the first president of this republic? And are you expecting John Dramani Mahama, president of this republic currently, to issue a statement or make some pronouncement, or even Okudzeto Ablakwa, our foreign affairs minister, to make some pronouncement on this? Because we also say we are friend to all, enemy to none.
It shouldn't be a question of whether we expect them to make a statement or not. They have to. It's a requirement. They have to. It shouldn't be a subject of whether they should or they should not. It is. It is. The way we are quick to respond to international issues. I remembered when Ablakwa made a statement about what went on in Israel, and then again when our president went to the GA General Assembly and made comments. This is on our continent. It shouldn't take them 24 hours to make a comment. I'm expecting them to speak personally.
Unfortunately, it's clearly 24 hours now. And for me, I'm a media person here in Ghana. I haven't heard anything from the presidency or from the foreign affairs minister. Probably they are doing what Professor John Evans Fifiata Mels said. Diufiasem. Diufiasem. Is that not it?
I don't know how Dimufiasem will help us because Nigeria is not far from Ghana. It's just two borders, and you are in there. And so, for us to pretend we don't know what is going on there with the concepts that Yeah, DFSM, I don't get it. They have to speak. I would have spoken if I was in that position.
All right, so I want to welcome back Dr. Prosper Nino, a security expert. But let me quickly welcome one of our discussants for another topic, just to acknowledge his presence with us over here, Mr. Musa Dankwa, Executive Director for Global InfoAnalytics. He has also joined us. He has done a survey on some presidential bid of the new patriotic party, which will be happening next month, quite close, 31st of January 2025. Mr. Musa Dankwa, a pleasure to welcome you and have you on the program. Okay, I didn't hear you, Mr. Musa Dankwa. If you can respond to my welcome again.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
Grateful. I can hear you now. Thank you very much. And I'll be coming to you, Mr. Musa Dankwa, shortly. But let me get to Dr. Prosper Ninote. Sir, I left you with a question. I was asking about the security implication for Ghana with respect to what the United States of America did by way of the precision attack on Nigeria, the northern part of Nigeria yesterday. What is the security implication for Ghana? Is there any?
Yeah, the security implication for the whole of West Africa, because these jihadists are out there to destabilize the region. They haven't hidden that intent, and they've stated it clearly. So it's not just an issue of Ghana. It is ECOWAS as a body and what they should be doing in a coordinated manner to fight this evil. And so it just goes beyond just Ghana. So I would expect an ECOWAS kind of response and intervention. Here and now, it may appear that there's a bilateral going on, if you look at it diplomatically and from the international relations angle, that there's a bilateral going on between the US and Nigeria. And so it appears like they are coordinating to do what they want to do. Now, you know the nature of terrorism. If you are also heard to be making comments and all that, you may become a target, and then instability and all that is what happens. The unfortunate thing about it also is that this thing happens not only on the current soil, but nationals could also be targeted anywhere in the world. So in terms of making pronouncements and all that, people are cautious in terms of how they come out to do that. So they don't necessarily expose themselves. That's why you need a more regional approach rather than specific countries coming in to make statements. This would be my projection. But in terms of the wider implications, I think that it just tells us that this terrorism issue is not over. We need to take it seriously. It can happen anywhere. Normally where you see it happening is when people gather for festivities, for Friday prayers, Christians in churches, the malls, strategic locations. And so if America is involved, any citizens anywhere of an American national can be targeted. That's one of the implications. Vice versa, these things could also be replicated anywhere across the region. And so everybody should be concerned. As a West African, we should all work together to address this issue.
Dr. Ninote, are you satisfied with the response, the kind of response we've received from ECOWAS? You know, as part of ECOWAS, several states, including Burkina Faso, Mali, and a couple of others, they have exempted themselves from this region. Are you satisfied with the way ECOWAS has responded to terrorist attacks and how coup and coup d'etats have happened in the country and the response they have given to it? With respect of that, would you expect more from ECOWAS?
Yes, I will expect more from ECOWAS. ECOWAS is doing its bit, but would require more. Because you see, you don't fight terrorist activities from just one singular front or with one international partner. It goes beyond that. And if you don't have that comprehensive and collaborative approach, it becomes difficult. Unfortunately, the situation is worsened by the Sahelian region issue where they've dissociated themselves from the ECOWAS body because of the coups and all that. But this also is pending and also needs to be fixed, because then if a house is divided within itself, it's difficult for it to come together as a coordinated entity to do anything important. So that has to be addressed. And again, also as a regional body, ECOWAS also needs to begin to design ways of protecting the citizens of the region, not only the states. And this is where the emphasis lies. ECOWAS for the citizens.
Would you accept the view of people who say ECOWAS is failing the region?
Not necessarily. ECOWAS is doing quite a lot on several fronts. Unfortunately, terrorism and its nature can be very tricky. And so you can't just use that alone as a basis. Of course, there are other issues, governance and all. But it's not that bad. I think that a lot more can be done to rectify this current challenges that we are facing within the region. And so it's not too late.
I want to get a quick opinion of this topic from Mr. Musa Dankwa. Mr. Musa Dankwa, like I indicated early on, you are on for another special topic which you related to your pools and all of that. But this is a regional crisis. I know your company or your institution does a lot of this work. When you heard about the precision strike yesterday, 25th, the day we are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, the United States of America launched a precision attack on jihadist group in the northern part of Nigeria. Please share with me. How did you feel about this, and what information do you have on this?
Right. Thank you very much. If you remember, a few months ago, even less than a month or two ago, there was this comment from the White House and Trump saying that Christians are under attack in Nigeria. And if nothing is done about it, it's going to take action. And I asked myself, what data is he looking at? I mean, Muslims have suffered in the hands of Boko Haram and ISIS more than the Christians in Nigeria. But this is not about Muslims and Christian issue. It's about security of citizens of Nigeria, regardless of their faith. Now, Trump did not see anything wrong with Muslims being killed, but he saw that he could defend Christians. And Nigeria is a unitary state where Muslims' rights and that of the Muslims are equally protected. So I was quite taken aback by his response at the time. And now we've seen that being followed by a strike on the terrorist camp, apparently. I have no issues if there's collaboration between Nigeria and the US to target any terrorist anywhere. And I think once there's collaboration and the share of intelligence, that's okay. But maybe Nigeria doesn't have the capacity to launch that precision strike like Americans can do. And indeed, we've seen America work with the African Union in Somalia to fight Al-Shabaab. So on that kind of collaboration, I think it is okay. But when it appears that it will be unilateral, I just hope that it wasn't, or they didn't force Nigeria's hands. We should be taking steps that will protect every citizen, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian. Now, if this thing escalates and there should be reprisals by these ISIS guys on the Christians, can America send in troops to defend the Christians in Nigeria? They can't. So they have to rely on the state of Nigeria to protect everybody in Nigeria. And I hope that they will learn a very good lessons from elsewhere, and that work with Nigerian government to ensure that there is collaboration, there is sharing of intelligence, and there is effort that is taken at protecting everybody, whether a Muslim or Christian. Every life matters.
And talking about protecting ourselves, it's so clear and obvious that the African is not capable of managing his own affairs with respect to security. Wouldn't you accept this?
We face numerous challenges across the continent. I mean, insurgency all over the place. But look, let's not forget that the conflict or the issue we're having in the Sahel region was because they toppled Gaddafi. Gaddafi was kind of a protective barrier around that area, stopping this insurgency. Once he was no longer there, they had a free hand. Because if you remember, these guys in the northern Nigeria, the Tuareg rebels, during Gaddafi time, they were very, very neutralized. And when they fought alongside Gaddafi and Gaddafi army lost, they had guns, they had money, and they had nowhere to go but to come back home. And because they were from the Sahel region, they came down home and they were tormenting people. So if Gaddafi was not removed, assassinated the way they did, probably we wouldn't be having these issues in Africa.
What do you expect the President of the Republic to do with respect to this very Nigeria?
Look, I heard one of your about do you fear yourself? You see, when it comes to war against terror, you don't have to insert yourself in the equation unnecessarily, because comments you make and actions you take may make you a target of this insurgency. And I believe that Africa should take a common approach, a regional approach, or the African Union making a statement or the ECOWAS making a statement. I don't think it should be for individual state rather than Nigeria to make comment about what's happening in Nigeria. I think it's diplomatic, it's proper for the regional bloc to issue statements so that we don't become a target of any terror group. But I believe once we are united, we have a common voice as ECOWAS. It reflects the views of every ECOWAS without necessarily making us a target.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musa Dankwa. Let me get back to our security expert on this very subject. The same question to you, Dr. Prosper Ninote Ado. Share with me, what do you expect the president to do? I've heard from AIM Liquid. He says 24 hours, we should expect the president or the foreign affairs minister to be speaking. And Musa Dankwa also agrees with that, but you have to be cautious. You don't have to pop your nose everywhere, else you become a target. From a security point of view and an expert point of view, what should the president be doing?
So that's what I said, that this requires a regional approach. Because if you want to single out yourself and portray that approach of I am a regional power, or I align myself to A or B, you easily become a target. And I've made this point up front. Okay, so again, it's just straightforward and simple. We all have to come together and fight this issue. And if we adopt that collaborative approach and cooperate, it's much more easy. They know they have the common front, and this makes it a bit more difficult. But then it goes more beyond that also, that this partnership that we are engaging in to address this issue must be genuine. It must not just be a transactional kind of approach where perhaps a partner comes in because they have an interest to pursue necessarily. But there must be that genuine partnership to ensure that this is addressed to the core by availing all the intelligence and the resources that is needed. And from our side as a region and as a continent, we also provide what is needed to address this thing once and for all, because it is impacting so badly on the civilians on the ground. And so this is what I would say.
Do you expect the ECOWAS chair, Julius Dabio, to be organizing some ECOWAS meeting, or there is an engagement behind the scene ongoing? What would be your advice to the Commission's president or the chairperson of ECOWAS?
I expect ECOWAS, particularly the political affairs, peace and security department, to have a strategy that is capable of containing the situation. We know, yes, Nigeria is a superpower, it's a force, but this has been ongoing for a long time, and it's only not there, it's also across. So if you deal with that, we have, in fact, a multinational joint task force to fight all this terrorism thing from the African Union side, and it's been located in that part of the region to do this. ECOWAS should have its complementary approach also. And so I would expect a strategy
that focuses more on intelligence gathering data, and if it is possible, how do we eliminate this threat? Because the threat continues and is not being, stopped in any way. And so we should have that strategy in place to address this problem.
Thank you very much. I want us to leave the Nigeria and ECOWAS discussion and get into Ghana, because today, just today, 26th of December 2025, yesterday's issue is what we have just discussed. 25th, then there were some strikes in Nigeria. Today, there have been some gunshots in the Volta region where you and I come from. Almost all of us on this network this evening, we some way, somehow, you're from the Volta region. I know M. Liquid, you are a citizen of Ghana and also of the Volta region. Prosper, you are also from the Volta. Actually, you are even there as I speak with you right now. We are learning 15 individuals have been arrested following sporadic gunfire at Ho Central Mosque earlier today, Friday, December 26. And the incident disrupted morning Juma prayers, prompting a swift response from security forces who took the suspects into custody. At least 7 Muslims were injured and are receiving treatment at various hospitals in the Volta region of this republic. It's in line with who leads the Muslim community in the Volta region. And as they were going to pray, there were some few masked men, unknown men, masked men who entered and started shooting. What is the implication by way of security to the region and to the country at large? Let me start with you, Dr. Prosper Nino Ado.
That day for home, that day for Volta region. Like you rightly said, I'm a proud Maulian. Of course, mother side from Volta region. I grew up in Ho, a school there. You don't hear these things happening. And so for this to suddenly be happening, particularly on this day, is sad and must not be allowed to continue at all. We have various mechanisms, conflict resolution mechanisms. And sometimes we travel far beyond the continent, and even talk about the formal and informal systems in place that complement each other in helping us resolving conflict. So where is this suddenly coming from? That people then have the guts and the audacity to carry a weapon, go into a mosque, a sacred a place for worship, and do this. I mean, it's barbaric, sad. It must not be encouraged. I'm really glad that the police responded immediately as they happened. And of course, backed by our gallant soldiers, the Volta regiment. They take no nonsense. And also the way they went about it did not further, complicate the situation. I would just request that whatever happens to this case, it's not taking 1 week and we forget about it. If the perpetrators are arrested, we must hear something again on this particular net. Follow it through. What punishment was meted to them? Because if we don't do that, we'll not discourage others from doing this. Who does not witness this kind of incident? So for this to suddenly be happening is very worrying and must not be tolerated.
Let me go to M Liquid. Our Volta region is on the hot burner this evening. It's not a pleasant, like Dr. Prosper Christians. He says it's barbaric, a sad day for Volta region. He lived there. He started his life over there. He has been part of the region throughout. But today is a sad day for Volta region. What's your opinion on what happened in Ho today?
Of course, it's a sad day, irrespective of which region it is. It could be in the north, it could be anywhere. But the most important thing is that certain behaviors have just shown up in our country, and unfortunately, it's in Volta region. So that would be my first concern, because it could be anywhere. Not because it's Volta region is the reason I'm going to comment. My concern will be that I pray our politicians don't make this thing a partisan issue suddenly and deal with it. Of course, we can see in the videos the police are on the scene and taking charge of the matter. Let the security forces, the agencies that are responsible for this kind of incidents, take care of it and drive it accordingly with no fear or any alignment with who or what. That's what I'll say.
Thank you very much, M. Liquid. And Musa, you have a word on this?
I mean, yes. We have not received any official communique with regards to the causes of this issue. But I think there has been some dispute about the leadership of the Muslim communities in that mosque. And I believe it could be factionally related. The people who are aligned to one party or the other, or one group or the other, have taken upon themselves and arrogate themselves the power of army to go there and cause problem. I'm very confident that this can be dealt with quite swiftly. They will give them up. They know who they are, and they will get them. I don't think we're going to entertain some of these things anywhere in this country. We have no room for such behaviors. You know, we have already issue of unemployment and criminal activity on our hand. We don't want to have another religious factions fighting themselves in this country, whether in voter regime or anywhere in this country. We have no time for that. So I'm glad that they pick people up and they can take them through the process and prosecute them to set as a good example for those who might have similar intentions.
Thank you very much. And M, you made the point that you pray is not aligned to any partisan politics, football. And I'm happy Musa also mentioned the swift and the quick action, and also looking forward for more prosecution. I want to let Dr. Ninote leave us, and so we can concentrate on other subjects, especially the Global InfoAnalytics latest survey on the MPP presidential primaries, which is upcoming. But Dr. Ninote, before you go, this major two subjects we've dealt with, any final words you would want to share with us on this program before you go, sir?
Thank you. Just to say thanks for having me. To say that terrorism is very difficult to handle, and it must be handled wisely.
Unfortunately, your line is breaking a little bit. We've gotten a clearer line from the beginning.
Enough to ensure that this happens. Also, in terms of what happened in Ho, it must be condemned in its entirety, and people must not be allowed to take the law into their own hands. As colleagues said, indeed, it's not only about Volta region, but our current focus is on the Volta region and the whole case. And I will plead that all those who are behind this incident
we have a bad line again. Dr. Prosper Ninote Ado, are you there? Unfortunately, we have lost Dr. Ninote Ado, but his points are well crafted and well made. Doc, let me say a big thank you for spending some time with us here on NSG News and this is Pulse of the Week. Let's go into session with Mr. Musa Dankwa, because there's a latest poll he has made. It says former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia remains in the lead in the race to become the New Patriotic Party's next presidential candidate. But a new poll shows Kennedy Japon gaining significant ground as the contest begins to tighten up. The survey conducted by Global InfoAnalytics under a likely voters model places Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Okay, this is the 45 one, but I am referring to the 56% survey that came up, and Kennedy Japon around 39, and the others 3 or 4. But the man who conducted this very survey is with us right now. I would love to leave the platform for him to take us through which people did you talk to, who and who did you speak to, and what were their response? How many people did you talk to, and why do we have Dr. Bawumia still leading? Is it that you are not happy with any of the other contenders, or you have an agenda? Talk to me, Mr. Musa Dankwa.
Right, thank you very much. In this round of polling, we sampled 3,521 MPP delegates across the entire 16 regions, and they were interviewed by telephone between 19th and 22nd. And if you look at their age profile, mostly under 34 years, it's about 19%. And then you have 35 to 54, making about 74%. People above 55, about 7%. Now, if you look at the responses from delegates, we asked them in these primaries who would they vote for. You would see that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is on 45%. Kennedy Ejepon on 31% roughly. Brian Achampon on 3%, and the rest were under 0.5% or more or less near zero. However, there are 11% of people who say they will not disclose their voting intention. Still. And 9% were saying they are undecided. Now, if you look at how these candidates are performing across the regions, Bawumia is leading in all the regions except Central Region and Volta Region, where Kennedy has the upper hand. Now, you also made mention of a number which we call computed voters model. If you analyze the results from people who mentioned the candidate's name, and you exclude those undecided and those who said they will not disclose from the analysis, then Bawumia on that score will go to 56%, Kennedy 39%, 4% Brian Champo, and near zero for the rest. Now, usually, this model, 5-6, tend to be accurate if you don't have undisclosed delegate, because the undisclosed delegate are not doing so for one reason or the other. So they may not break away, or they may not break out in the same way as undecided. So they may kind of distort the race in a bit, or in a way. So we're gonna stick to the 45% for now until the last poll, which would happen between 19th and 24th January, before the final primaries. So what we can say is that from the previous poll, Bawumia increased its share by 2%, moving from 43% to 45%. But Kennedy made a quantum leap from 18% to 31%, because we mentioned before, or we said it earlier, that we suspect most of the people who are not disclosing may be people who may vote for Kennedy. So maybe he could win about 90% of those undisclosed delegates. However, those who say they are undecided, they are generally undecided. And I believe they will break away in the same way the race looks like right now. But we're not there yet. In January, we'll give you the final polling numbers and also what we expect the race to eventually be on the election day.
That's quite interesting. 3,521 people across board in the various 16 regions, organized between 19th and 22nd of December 2025 by Global InfoAnalytics. And Bawumia increased by 2%, you say, and now at 45%. And Kennedy Japan increased by from 18 to 31%, you say, and now at 30 what percent?
31% now.
31%. Wow. Just rest a little bit for me. Let me get to AIM. AIM, this is the data we have, the statistics we have from the data man, Musa Dankwa. What do you say?
First of all, the Global InfoAnalytics has become like the oracle of the statistics. So they have spoken before and it came to pass like a prophecy. So it's difficult to challenge what they are doing. But I will just say from this point that I've been looking for the total number of delegates across nation, and there are varied numbers. And so I'm looking at things between 5,000 to 6,000 thereabout. So if it is true we have 6,000, and Global InfoAnalytics, Mr. Musa is handling 50% approximately, if I put it that way. I'm not sure if those numbers are correct. Okay, good. So what surprise do we have there that is not showing? That's what I want to throw out there.
Okay, all right. Mr. Musa Dankwa, let's get back into it.
200,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Aim, I didn't get to the last part of your submission. If you could please repeat.
Oh, I think Musa heard and he was answering. So it's what I said. I think you're in your own world now. We've taken over from you. And no, what I said is that if the numbers I'm searching across the internet is suggesting certain with reference to the delegates that were gathered at the University of Ghana Stadium at some point. So it's making reference to that. It's between 5,000 to 6,000. So I was saying that if that is the national number, and Mr. Musa said if they've sampled 3,000, am I right? 3,000. So if that number I'm looking at is correct, that means I'm trying to find out what sort of surprise will come if half is not known. But Mr. Dankwa is saying that no, the numbers are even bigger than that. So I'm only trying to find out, would there be an upset that even though the numbers are looking like this, only for us to realize that, hey, what's his name? Kennedy Ajipon comes on top as the candidate elect. That's sort of my question.
Mr. Musa Dankwa, looking at the trajectories of how your pool is coming up and how Kennedy Pond is rising and getting increase and all of that, would we be surprised to see on the 31st of December that he has won the race, or you still confident that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would come up victorious even after your 19th to 24th January survey, which I am keenly waiting for it. And I think after that survey, we can beat our chest and say this person is winning or not. But even ahead of that survey, do you think there would be some inroads for Kennedy Pond to surprise Ghanaians?
Look, if you look at Baumia's numbers, I think it's plateaued around 45, 47 on the headline basis. Kennedy Japan may have made some gains, but the gains did not come from Bawumia. He gained from those who were not disclosing and now openly saying they are Kennedy, and some who were undecided that have gone to him. So Bawumia's numbers are holding very steady. The people who are voting for him are committed to voting for him. So if you look at where he is right now, even a month before the race, he only requires 5% plus 1 to cross the requirement to be a flag bearer. So he's much closer to the finish line than Kennedy. Kennedy needs to win a lot more of the 19% of the vote that are out there to be able to win. Now, it will be very difficult to see that kind of challenger winning the race. The best he could do is to pull the race into runoff. That's the best he could do. Pull the race into runoff, and then we'll see whether the other candidates will come together to support Kennedy or they will come together to support Bawumia.
Okay, all right. Let's leave that. There is this incursion of news that came up today, last night, relating to Haruna Idrisu. I think we've had some time to talk about the NDC's side of presidential primaries, but he keeps making this news, and this time around he says Vice President Janano Pokuajiman capable of leading Ghana. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are they preparing her to lead after John Dramani Mahama?
Look, let's be realistic. Let's come to the earth here. I think age is not on the side of Professor Janano Poku. She's capable, yes, but age is not on her side. Recent polls that were conducted shows that 72% of Ghanaians say if you are 60 years and above, you are not capable of being a president. In fact, the number is about 62 years. They said if you are above 62, they don't think you are fit to be president. So the generation are looking for younger people. And if you think that she'll be 77 years old in 2028, that would be a very tall order. Physically demanding. And Nanado's 8 years has not really given the old people a good testimony for the young people to follow. Because look, 75% of the voters are below 44 years. They don't want any old man to rule them.
That's quite intriguing. If you may, let me dovetail into the Constitutional Review Commission, because the committee, Constitutional Review Committee, led by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, there was clearly a recommendation in that regard, where the 40-year for presidential age in this country has been reduced to 30 years. Let me pick your opinion on the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendation. And there have been several recommendations. I have about 10 of them over here we can go through, but time is not on our side. Just pick one or two of them. The tenure of office for the Electoral Commissioner, reducing the commissioners from 4 to 2. The tenure of office for the President from 4 years to 5 years. And second term, no third term for any president. The MPs, the same 5 years, not 4 years. So you can have enough time to do your agenda. If you finish with 1 term and Ghanaians see that you have not been able to deliver, they would not renew your mandate. Share with me, Mr. Musa Dankwa, what are your key highlights of this Constitutional Review Committee?
You know, I have been following the commission's work for some time now. And this morning I had a chance to read through the documents that they produced. For me, a few things really stood out. And some of them, we are currently doing opinion polls on whether the public support those kind of proposals. Yes, we are asking the public to give us their views on the 5-year tenure. We are also asking the public to give us their views on the election of MMDCs. And also the decision to bar members of parliament from becoming ministers of state. And another thing that I think is very important is the restriction of the campaign period to 120 days. So we shouldn't take more than 120 days to campaign for any election, which is very, very good, because it will make the campaign a bit cheaper, not prolong and disturb our ears and let government doesn't function well in an election year. All these things are geared towards sanitizing that. Quite a comprehensive review, and I haven't seen people speaking against any of the proposals yet. One thing that was also very important for me was the lowering of the age of president to 30 years. Look, elsewhere in the world, 30 years we would have achieved a lot. It's because in Ghana here, by 30 years, we're still struggling. So we don't think that the age is capable of running the country. In some countries, their prime minister are 34 years, 39 years, 38 years, a big country. So I think the commission was mindful of the demography of the Ghanaian voters. 75% of them are 44 years. So you must lower the age to be able to allow them to be engaged and to be able to run for office. those who are fighting these young people are probably the old ones. They think these young people will come and disturb them in aspiring to be president. But I think it's in order. Any young man, it don't necessarily mean that you can you should contest, but it doesn't put a barrier on you that you can't cross because you are under 40 years. I mean, there are young people who are successful in life, who are making it, who can play a big role. Even if they don't win, they can give the old ones a run for their money, which will be interesting from my side as a pollster.
That's very true. Mr. Musa Danko, I want to allow you to go. It's Friday evening, but just confirm for me. Did you say you are organizing an opinion poll on the CRC and all its recommendations?
Yes, it's already ongoing. We'll finish it tomorrow. So it will be part of the master report we're going to issue on Monday.
That's grateful. I can't wait to have that bite on Monday. I think there should be a special Monday edition of Pulse of the Week where we'll come back to review that. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Now, let me get to AIM. AIM, there's an incursion by Haruna Idrisu to indicate to Ghanaians that the vice president should be readying herself to lead the country. Do you get that incursion too?
No, personally, no. And I tend to align to Mr. Musa's view, Mr. Dankwa's view about, yes, she may have the capability to, but what will be her on health grounds and as being advanced in age, that energy to keep up with the workload as a president, could that become an impact on her ability to or not to? So that needs to be considered critically by those proposing or tossing that idea around. As of now, the argument is if the NDC keeps performing as is so far, it's going to be near impossible for NPP to come back. And so if they want that to be true, then they have to be very careful in who they choose to lead the party after John Dramani Mahama.
That's very true. I have gone on with you with respect to the CRC. I think Wednesday we dealt with it so much. So I would love to leave it here unless you have some few closing remarks to share with us, Mr. A.M. Liquid.
Oh, I still maintain that, of course, I've heard the pollster, Mr. Musa Dankwa and the Global InfoAnalytics are doing some polling are going on the views of stakeholders. And I mean, when it comes out, we will know who they are speaking to. But I still maintain that yes, after many years, there's a need to review and to see how things can be improved. The idea of changing the constitution has been a while now, but most of the time, the energy for the change becomes when some activists and partisan individuals riding on their horses feel the sitting government is not treating them right. Then the demand becomes apparent and heated. So I hope that emotions are not driving it much more than the facts of the matter. But I'm not questioning the work done. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, and I still maintain that doesn't matter what is done to the Constitution. If there's nothing done as far as education and the culturing of the people by education as to the understanding of what is country and people, that constitution will still not function. It's possible that if we carry our constitution to another part of the world, it will function effectively and they'll become a greatest nation as possible. Having said that, I am not saying there's no need for certain changes. For instance, when we talk about accountability, which is one of the subjects in there, tell me what is not in line for us to be able to function or fight demand accountability rather than the fact that there's some skewed mentality in delivering the instruments that are available to us. So I still maintain my grounds that yes, changes can be made, but they should progress or proceed with caution and be circumspect to what can be touched or not touched. Of course, the fact remains that NDC has majority in parliament. So if this move goes on, the possibility of whatever becomes an instrument to be passed might go through. If it is not open to the public, a sort of referendum for the whole nation to vote on it. So that's where I am, and I'm still sitting at that place. And of course, I'm also yet to read the whole document to come to the realization of what are the fundamentals for me, apart from the general consensus. What is the factual fundamentals that forms the basis for the recommendations? We need to consider that. And so we just hope that what comes out of it is good for country and people.
Always a pleasure having you, Mr. M. Liquid, media personality and policy analyst, host of the Hot Seat here on NSG News. A pleasure having you. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. A big thank you to Mr. Musa Danko, Executive Director, Global InfoAnalytics. Thank you, sir. And also Dr. Prospani Norte Ando, security expert, who came in to support our discussion today. I say a big thank you to you, gentlemen, for supporting our discussion today.